Hi everyone, it's Dave Yoster again, President of Managed Service Provider Association, back again with Val King from Whitehat Virtual Technologies at the MSP Expo in Florida. Val, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Loving it. Looking forward to our conversation today.
Yeah, fantastic. So Val, you are representing Whitehat Virtual Technologies here at the Expo. What brought you to the Expo?
Actually, and Ascent Portal.
And Ascent Portal, okay.
Yes. So what brought me here was we have, over the last 11 years, built a practice around figuring out how to be a good MSP and then how to deliver compliance and security services. Mm-hmm. So here we're really trying to help other partners not step in the same bear traps that we have stepped in all this time,
okay,
and understand what to do and how to do it to build their own compliance and security practice, because we think the water level is going to continue to rise and it's going to be table stakes, and they need to be prepared, and hopefully we're one of the ones who can help get them ready.
Great. So Val and Whitehat Virtual Technologies is a member of the association. Yes. Val is the type of guy who's going to give it to you straight. He's not going to beat around the bush. He's going to be perfectly honest with you. So that's what this is about. So Val, the one thing that I wanted to focus on here is a lot of MSPs are growing. They're getting into the market. Some are immature and some are on borderline. What do those MSPs need to do to reach that $1 million mark?
To get to $1 million, I would say first and foremost, figure out what you're good at, right? You can't be everything to everybody. If you're under $1 million in revenue, you've got a limited number of people, limited number of resources. So while you're not necessarily competing against a huge services provider or good mid-sized services provider, you do have some skill. So pick a niche, it could be a vertical, be a talent set that you have from someplace, and own that and focus on the thing that makes you unique and special while you feel out the market and begin to figure it out, and understand that compliance and security are going to need a part of it. So look around for other partners to fill those gaps that it doesn't make sense for you to payroll and have on board today.
Great. So, all right, understand, find the niche, get that.
Yes.
What about a national level? So do you recommend MSPs that are starting down this road focus on an area, or should they open their doors to a US market?
From my perspective, it could be territorial, or it could be a specific market or a specific vertical. It's more about where can I find an edge in the market, and I can find my story where I can be above the noise related for a particular segment of the market that I want to go get, so I can carve out my own base with which to begin growing. So I've seen it done successfully both places, but it's really, where's my edge? I'm going to look for the edge first, and then I'm going to look at some very basic processes in place to help me get functional, so that I can figure out how to write a quote and how to land business and what my contracts need to look like, just basics. So I can.
How long has the company been around?
We are 11 years old this year.
And you started it yourself?
Yeah, there was a grand total of 2 people on day one.
That's what I wanted to go to. So you started with 2 people. When you first started, you hear these stories of Amazon, they started in a garage, right? You hear other stories of MSPs who started in their basements. Where did you start?
I started having previously worked for a VAR, who decided they didn't want to be where I was. So I was fortunate in that there was a pipeline of companies that I knew about that the other company had abandoned.
Okay.
And so I just went to an armload of them and said, hey, they're gone. I'm here. Do you want to take a shot? And was, cards very transparent on the table of, here's what I got. right? I mean, the hardest sell for us was the first engineer, right? Because he's like, well,
Sure.
we got our first project, which was 10 weeks, and it was a project. And after that, it was I had to go make sure I had a good engineer to fulfill. And his first question was, "What are we going to do after 10 weeks?" To which I responded, you have a mortgage and 3 kids, and I have a mortgage, so I had better have sold something else."
Yeah, no kidding, right?
After that, so that's where we began.
Do you remember your first client?
Oh yes,
Are they still a client of yours?
marginally.
Okay.
That we do the occasional bit of work for them, but yeah, I will never forget the customer that took a shot on us, that catapulted us into business. But I think there's a slightly more interesting story is customer 5 or 10.
Okay.
I'll cover it real quickly because it's what I subscribe to, which is more or less being a servant leader. I knew another customer, not of ours, but that had, let's just say, not been treated well, not had a
Okay.
good experience, and I was tied to it remotely enough to see it. So we offered up a couple of free days of services. It's like, look, I can't. I mean, I got really nothing to do with it, but you're in a bad place. I don't want you to be in a bad place. I'll send you my new and improved engineer.
Sure.
For a couple of days, and that turned into one of our first, quote unquote, big customers, and that carried us a long way as we continue to grow, and that revenue helped fuel a lot of additional growth just off of a free 16 hours.
I've met a lot of MSPs here at the expo, some big, some small. This morning I had a conversation with a Venezuelan MSP who has actually moved over to the US, and they started, like you said, very small, started up with one or two small clients and have grown with the help of people like you, just giving them some insight, giving them some help, and giving them some direction. The MSPs that are in the market, and I know it's a bit of a competition in the market, but do MSPs ever reach out to you for kind of help or guidance?
Absolutely. We take care of a dozen or so MSPs around virtual desktops and around other services that we provide white labeled for them.
Okay.
And then our Ascent portal is also white labeled, and we'll wrap services around that to help them get from zero to understanding compliance to, I think of it as a little kid with training wheels on the bike, right? You kind of get them going, and then eventually take the wheels off and let go of the back of the seat and let them run. So absolutely get leveraged in that capacity.
So any MSPs that may be watching this now in the future, if you are in need of any assistance or guidance, or as you said, virtual environments, please reach out to Whitehat Virtual Technologies. They are there to help. The MSPA is a community of MSPs trying to come together and just help each other. Val is a leading example of this. One more question, Val. Your time when you started the company till you hit your first million, do you have a time frame when that was?
I was right at 1 year.
1 year?
1 year.
That is phenomenal.
It felt, I would say it wasn't phenomenal only because we thought it was too easy. Well, we got this, no problem. So we're busy patting ourselves on the back and then couldn't figure out what it was like.
What's going wrong, right?
Now, then it was like, well, this is tough. So yes, we were fortunate in that regard. But I guess the last thing I want to say before we wrap up is, for me, the important part is giving and teaching and helping. So where we didn't have a brand or reputation yet, what we did have is I would spend time educating the customer, not with just putting things into analogies and giving them a way to understand IT, so they felt like they could make an informed decision.
Gotcha.
So I could put it in their terms, they could make, and as a result, I think they trusted us because we were kind of removing the mystery and removing the fog. That to me was, I think, one of the biggest factors that catapulted our success, is we were very easily, but quickly able to establish some trust because we weren't hiding anything. We explained how it worked.
I'm hearing relationships come into this equation.
Absolutely.
So it's great. I agree with you. All about relationships. A lot of the folks here at the expo, a lot of people know a lot of people. We speak to one person, they say, oh, this person just spoke to him. Sometimes we have no idea who they are, but it's this community and the MSP world is about relationships. We've seen that with you and your company. We've seen it with some of our vendors. We've seen it with other MSPs. Some MSPs that joined 2 days ago. they said that they met someone at the MSP Expo and now they want to be a part of this whole community. So that is fantastic. And I think relationships in business is key. It's absolutely key.
Absolutely.
Val, before we close, any last comments for anyone that may be watching?
I would say you need to understand how to run your MSP, because if you don't have the experience in the background, learn from somebody who's been there before. And I'm standing here in the perfect spot to figure that out. These guys have a ton of resources. The bear traps that we stepped in trying to figure it out, this organization wasn't around. Organizations like this have a ton of money to pay for consulting and pay for all this other stuff to figure it out. There's a wealth of resources now that you do not have to slam your head against the wall to figure out how to make this work. There's enough people here, ourselves included, and many others that will help you figure out how to make your business better, which is better for all of us. That's really all I got.
That's awesome. Thanks, Val.
Sure.
Thank you everyone for watching. Val's website is below. If you want to find out more information or reach out to them, please reach out to them. If you just want to ask a question, I'm sure he'll be happy to answer you.
Absolutely.
Thanks for your time, and you guys we'll see you guys later. Have a great day.
Wait, Val.